Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Wine with Jimmy channel, here with your host, Jimmy Smith, and welcome to a series on my channel that we call the WSET Level 3 SAT Full Examiner's Notes. That's me. So I go through my full notes on wines that you can get available in the UK market and probably elsewhere in the world, but I don't have all the time in the world to check all markets. So we are looking here really at the wonderful world of the Syrah grape variety. So I'm going to go through my full tasting notes. If you do have any comments, questions, or concerns, then please do pop them in the comments section below this video. I'd love to hear what you find with the wine, any key characteristics, anything you got different, and of course, your scores when you mark them against my notes. This was tasted in December 2021. This is the Paul Jaboulet Aîné, the Jalets Crozes Hermitage 2018 belter of a year. That's why we've got 14% ABV and available at somewhere around £18. I think at Waitrose, maybe. You might have to check that. I think that's correct. But it's in the UK market for sure. So let's do the first thing. The first two marks available here is really on the appearance, and this actually has a lot of intensity for it. You can find often that Crozes Hermitage could be towards medium, but here on this quite fleshy, quite fairly premium wine, which is also from a very warm vintage, it's a deep ruby color. Syrah sometimes can be purpley too, but on this one it was more of a deep ruby. So one mark each. You'll notice if you're here for the first time and you haven't been on a tasting note here on the full examiners with me before, I take away clarity and other observations because there are no marks allocated to them. Now, I split the nose into two areas. The nose is 7 marks, and I split it onto this slide for 2 marks, and the next slide for 5 marks. So for 2 marks, the intensity and development. Now, this is medium plus or pronounced, fairly aromatic on the nose. And then development is developing because it is showing tertiary. Now, you'll notice I put a range down here on intensity. I'm allowed to because I am special, but you are not. You must only pick one thing per line, okay? But examiners can put ranges down on 2 of their lines. So lots of things going on here. Now, there are 5 marks available for the nose. You get 1 for primary, 1 for secondary, 1 for tertiary, and then you get the remaining 2 for anything else. Can be primary, secondary, or tertiary. Okay, so let me go through those. Geranium kind of notes here on the nose. Black cherry, brambly, blackberry, blackcurrant. Now quite dark, rich notes. Crozes Hermitage, when it's at the cheaper end, maybe in the UK market at about 10, 11, 12 pounds, can be more red fruited, certainly from a colder vintage. But this is Le Jalets from Paul Jaboulet, and this is 2018. So you've got darker fruit coming through on this style. Then you've got a note here of kind of dried fruit characteristics, some fig, prune, or raisin. A little bit of mintiness, lavender, cardamom, black pepper, licorice, and whetstone graphite kind of a note coming through. Lots of things. Little hint of vanilla, but more about the spice, the clove, bit of cedar, toast, charwood, smoke, and a little bit of chocolate, which you don't typically find in Crozes Hermitage Syrah, but this one was an exception. That fig, prune, and tar I put here as well. Now that could be that it's primary, but I'm going to allow it as tertiary too, because there is a leather, a savory, a meaty, and tobacco character on this wine style too. Okay, just to repeat, 1 mark for primary, 1 mark for secondary, 1 mark for tertiary, and then 2 for anything from this page to make up the 5. Your tasting note is as follows: 7 marks. Now, a red wine has 10 marks for the palate, 7 for the characteristics here, and then 3 for the flavors. So I'm going to do the characteristics on this slide and the flavors on the next slide. Sweetness is dry. That's normally your given mark for your red wines. Medium plus acidity. Medium plus tannin. Good, ripe, but not the biggest. So I've given you a range here. High alcohol, because it is 14%. And that's what bumps up the body really here. So there's good fruit concentration, good tannin structure and the high alcohol towards medium plus flavor intensity, and medium plus length as well. Prettily consistent with a little bit of elegance behind it. Okay, 7 marks. And then the flavor characteristics, 1 for primary, 1 for secondary, 1 for tertiary. Done. That adds up to your 10 for the palate. That's 1 from the primary there, 1 from the secondary, and 1 from the tertiary. Now, you've seen this slide before. All you've got to do now is pause it and do your marking and restart it. Now, hello, welcome back. Now, let's look at the conclusions. Quite close to being really good, this wine, as in outstanding. The balance is great. The intensity is great. So lots of intense and very defined fruit, and lovely and complex across primary, secondary, tertiary. I think it just misses out on the length. It needs to be long, but I think it might get there. So for this reason, I've gone for very good. I think can drink now, but has potential for aging because it could be outstanding with that level of fruit, tannin, acid, and alcohol. Okay, so I would love to hear from you guys from if you've tasted the Paul Jaboulet, La Jalets. 21 marks available, 12 as a pass, 14 as a merit, and 17 is a distinction. Please get in touch with your scores if you want to share them. And if you have any comments or questions, please do pop them in that comments section. Click like and subscribe whilst you are there. Social media, you can also look at the bottom of every slide. Until next time, if you do come to London, please come and see me at one of my establishments. Come and see me for a glass, or a bottle. I've been Jimmy Smith. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.